he's dying and he's going to die. And I knew he was going to die. And yet his concern was not about himself. Like his concern was like about us missionaries and making sure we were safe and we were okay.
Wow.
And he wasn't bitter. He did die. We went to his funeral and that sort of thing. But it was like, there were so many situations where you're just, there's nothing you can do. I mean, or at least that's the feeling. Now, here's what missions has taught me. We held the hand of this mother who had to bury her 8-year-old son who died of cancer, right? We held her hand at the hospital. We held her hand at the funeral, right? We helped cover the expenses. So we did do things. It's not that there's nothing you can do. Oftentimes there's nothing you can do about the situation to prevent what's happening from happening, or like the poverty is so destitute, like the entire town is poor. What are you going to do? You're going to like help this entire town not be poor? And then what about the town next to them? Because they're also poor, you know? But it's like you ask the Lord, like, Lord, how do you want me to help these people? In what way can I love them? In what way can I serve them? In what way can I allow you to use me to be the hands and feet that you need here on the ground, the boots on the ground sort of thing? So there are things you can do. And it's oftentimes not what you wish you could do. Like, I want to cure this little 8-year-old boy of cancer and then he doesn't die, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want. But ultimately I have to be like, okay, Lord, like what do you want me to do though? How do you want me to help? And like, what is your will for me? And then to surrender to that. And that's a humbling thing, because oftentimes it doesn't look how we want it to look. And I think Mother Teresa knew that. I think when she served in India and she saw the destitution around her, like obviously she wanted to help every single person, but she couldn't.
Yeah.
You know, she was one person. And so to not despair, to not reach this hopeless place of, well, because I can't save everyone, I'm just going to pull out and go home because this is beyond this is hopeless or whatever. It's like, no, like the one person in front of you is who God is calling you to minister to, and you just be present to that.
I heard stories from a police friend of mine who said that, you know, there's some cops that he talks to that they feel like, oh my gosh, I keep working and, you know, crime is still bad. Do you ever feel something of that sort? Like, I keep doing all this mission work and everywhere I go, it's just terrible. Am I really putting a dent in this? Do you ever feel that way?
Absolutely. And again, that's despair. And I think the devil loves to use that to leverage, because if he can get us to quit, then there's really no hope. This hopeless situation, that now there's really no hope, because the one person who could maybe bring Christ's light into it is pulling out because they're so frustrated. So I saw this a lot in youth ministry. I would meet with teenagers all the time, and we'd meet over coffee, or I'd go and get them food or whatever, and we would sit and we'd talk, and they would talk about these things that they want to change or how they, and I would obviously try to help them in the ways that I could. I remember this one kid, I just saw his life go from bad to worse. It went from like, okay, he was smoking a little weed here and there, to like, okay, now he's kind of messing around with some harder drugs. Okay, now he's like sleeping with his girlfriend. Okay, now he's drinking till he's blacking out at night and hiding bottles under his bed. Okay, now he's shooting up heroin. Like, I mean, I just saw it go. And this is over the course of, I don't know, I am journeying with him now for about 2 years. Okay. Meeting with him semi-regularly, okay? He has a good Catholic family. He's an altar server, right? And yet he has this other life going on, and it's just going from bad to worse. And I'm meeting with him pretty regularly, and I'm giving him advice. I'm trying to help him, and I'm trying to love on him in spite of this brokenness. And it's starting to get frustrating, because every week I check in, and it's like he would not only not do the thing I told him not to do, but he would do the opposite and make it worse. Right. So I'm like, oh, and I remember taking it to prayer, and I was like, Lord, is this wasting my time? Like, should I be helping someone else? Like, if this kid is not receptive to what I'm saying, to what you're trying to do in his life, maybe I should spend my time elsewhere. Maybe there's a kid who is going to be receptive and is going to make changes.
Maybe there's a battle I can win.
Right. And I think that's why a missionary or anyone who's in ministry has to have their prayer life as the number one thing, because there is a level of discernment. There's prudence. Sometimes you have to set boundaries, you know, some kids who like blow up your phone at all hours of the night, like at some point, maybe you do have to set boundaries for those kids. Or maybe you don't. Like it's really hard because people are so complex and situations are so nuanced. You can't possibly know on a blanket statement like, yep, this is when or this is not when. And each kid I ministered to is always like on a case by case basis. And I just felt like the Lord was telling me like, keep pouring into this kid. Like just keep doing it. Like as much as disappointed as you are week after week, know that like I am even more disappointed as his loving father, as the God of the universe who loves him so much greater than you could ever love him. Like that much greater is my disappointment in him week after week. And yet I'm not giving up on him. And so God was really convicting me to not give up on him because Christ isn't giving up on him.